A vote for uninstructed is sending a clear message to the White House that the margin of victory in Wisconsin will not vote for genocide. If the Biden administration wants to take Trump seriously, if the Biden administration wants to win in November, they must change their policy stance on this issue now. Voters care about it, and good elected officials should listen to their voters and change on a stance when their coalition is calling for that.
So President Biden and former President Trump have enough delegates to lock up their party's nominations, but the primaries continue nonetheless, giving us more insight into the issues voters really care about most and whether some are so disgruntled that they'd cast a protest vote. Wisconsin holding its presidential primary today. You heard from that one voter there. And there has been a push for Democratic voters to choose uninstructed, in effect protesting President Biden's candidacy until he supports a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. On the Republican side, voters can choose from 5 Republican candidates other than Donald Trump. Pollsters curious to see if support for Trump is growing or waning. Democrats, as we heard from Rachel Scott earlier in the show, honing in on abortion as the issue that can pull more undecided voters into their camp. Florida's Supreme Court yesterday ruling that a law banning abortions at 6 weeks was constitutional. The Biden-Harris campaign pouncing, telling their supporters Donald Trump is to blame. So let's bring in our Deputy Political Director, Averi Harper. Averi, I'm curious, beyond Florida, can Democrats really count on the issue of abortion to get them swing voters that they'll need in purple states like Arizona, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, turn those states blue?
Not alone. It's certainly an important issue, and I think we're going to see voters who are mobilized by the issue of reproductive rights. But there are many voters for whom the issue of reproductive rights is not going to be a driving force to get them out to the polls. And I think that's why we see the Biden campaign not only talk about things like abortion, but they also talk about economic issues, things like the creation of jobs, like capping the price of prescription drugs or forgiving student loans. I think they understand that economic issues are also going to rank really high in terms of how people are going to vote in November.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the economy always does. I want to return with you to that uninstructed vote in Wisconsin. It's called different things in different states. We saw about more than 100,000 Democratic voters in Michigan. That's 13%. Similarly, choose uncommitted, what it was called there in February in their primary. Do you know if the Biden-Harris campaign is concerned that the ceasefire issue is going to really hurt them come November?
Oh, well, they're certainly watching it, and it's something that they are going to have to continue to watch through November, because it all depends on what happens with these voters. What do they do? I don't think that these folks who are putting in protest votes are going to find an ally in former President Trump as a viable option for them. So what do? Do they stay home? Do they not vote at all? Do they hold their nose and vote for President Biden, despite the fact that they are upset at his handling of the humanitarian crisis in Gaza? I'll tell you, the campaign put out a statement, and they said President Biden shares the goal for an end to violence and a just, lasting peace in the Middle East. And so we'll see exactly what happens if that statement alone is enough to get some folks to vote in his direction.
Yeah, between the ceasefire and reproductive rights and a couple of other issues, campaign's on edge for sure.
Definitely.
Averi Harper, thanks so much. Always good to talk to you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.